you said you grew up in India, you were raised in India.
Mhm.
Let's start from the beginning. How did your relationship with Dharma come to be?
Right. So my mother is American. She was born Catholic, but then she met her guru, Srila Prabhupada, and became a Sanatana Dharma practitioner. So she's American, and my father is Hindu from Gujarat. He was originally a Brahmin, and he was in America in the 70s doing his master's in civil engineering. And they both met through their guru, Srila Prabhupada, and were initiated into the bhakti tradition, and they were asked to by their guru to go back to Gujarat, which is where my father's from, to help spread and propagate the message of the Gita and the Vedic traditions, which they did do. So I grew up. I was born in India and raised in mostly in Ahmedabad and Vrindavan, and with you don't have to try hard to then be deeply influenced by the dharma, by Sanatan Dharma itself. I would say I that is just the sukriti, the great blessing to be born to parents who had dedicated their life to spreading Sanatan Dharma. So I grew up in a very idyllic kind of beautiful temple setting in the Hare Krishna community, and just really benefiting from the overall dharmic practices that we would have of rising early, doing jap and arti and kirtan, and spending the whole day really trying to um, refine our connection with the divine. And then when you grow up like that, those samskaras are very deep. You don't have to try externally to have a connection with dharma or the divine or God, whatever you want to term it. But once you taste the joy of Sanatan Dharma, of practicing this eternal identity and reviving your relationship in this way, there's no looking back in one sense. Having said that, I decided to pursue my higher education and go to America. And that was a huge culture shock for me. That was like going from a very sheltered dharmic situation in Ahmedabad. I went to Los Angeles. I did my uni there, and studied for and worked for many years, and was very overwhelmed by the the Western culture. And I'm half American, so that comes out, and started to explore. Okay, well, what if they're right? What if the Western mentality is right, and dharma is just a form of oppression and subjugation, and maybe they're just trying to control the women, and you start having all these radical feminist thoughts and thinking that actually maybe the Eastern culture is backward. You start, the brainwashing, the conditioning is very, very fast and rapid. Um, but over time, after a decade there working, you realize that it's kind of it's misleading. It's a really deep facade that everything looks great in the West. You experience a lot of physical and external freedom, but the mind and the senses and your inner core, the Atman, is completely trapped and is not experiencing any sense of freedom. Because when the mind is controlled by the senses, you're enslaved by yourself. You yourself have been enslaved by your own senses, which are out of control. So, you know what? It was so evident to me that after having experienced the beauty of Sanatan Dharma, then going and then trying to shed it because you think, well, maybe I was missing something. And then realizing, my goodness, there's nothing else out there that can come close to the scientific and experiential uh, truth that Sanatan Dharma can reveal to us. It is undeniable. So, it was a journey within. I had to really come to my own a choice. I had to choose on my own that actually, not just because of my parents or the way I grew up or that Sanatan Dharma is great, but actually through experiencing the lack of, you realize that, my goodness, we've been blessed with the absolute best, and that Dharma is not there for oppressing us. It is not just a matter of rules and rituals and, oh, tumhara dharma hai, you must touch the feet of your parents, or you must respect them, or you must look after them. Ye karna chahiye, wo karna chahiye. You know, we think that Sanatan Dharma is just rules and regulations. But actually they are, as our Guru Srila Prabhupada calls them, they're regulative principles of freedom. By regulating ourselves, by following these rules, we actually liberate our core, the inner identity, the inner true person that we are. The Atman gets liberated because what it needs to fulfill its potential is the quietening of the anarthas and the kama, krodha, lobha, and the senses. So dharma facilitates through the rituals and through the so-called regulation, it facilitates deep freedom, like on the ultimate sense. So once you experience that difference, the vast, stark difference of so-called external freedom versus the deep inner freedom, the Dharma, Sanatan Dharma is the only option for me. So I can't pinpoint one point where it began or ended, or maybe, I was born into it, and now I just, that's all I see. That's all I need.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.